and welcome. This is ASO TV News. I am Tina Ojeachu. The headlines. FCT Minister announces work on newly approved Kaba Kagini Zautna Road. Abuja Area Council flags off distribution of fertilizers, agrochemicals to farmers. FCT administration impounds 40 vehicles over illegal roadside operations. The federal government eliminates newly introduced green tax to combat country's pervasive cost of living crisis. And now the news in detail. President Bola Tinubu has again defended reforms rolled out by his administration and insisted that they are yielding results. The president spoke on Thursday during the maiden State House media dinner in Abuja. According to him, while the reforms were difficult steps, the results so far show that things have improved, with investor confidence in the country returning. President Tinubu noted that the difficult but necessary reforms undertaken by his administration are yielding results as the nation's economy is stabilizing and public revenue strengthened significantly. He added that state governments are receiving substantially higher allocations to support development, with oil and gas sector attracting renewed investment. President Tinubu further noted that the stock market has witnessed remarkable growth as key economic indicators are moving in the right direction through tax reforms, fiscal reforms, infrastructure investment, and improvement in the business environment. He also praised the efforts of security agencies, recalling some successes recorded in the battle against insecurity, adding that his administration has maintained a determined, multidimensional approach. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has directed the immediate construction of more roads in underserved communities across the Federal Capital Territory, declaring that the era of abandoned infrastructure projects in Abuja is over. The president gave the directive while commissioning the rehabilitated Old Kefi Road linking Kado Fish Market to Day Day Junction through Life Camp. Represented by Senate President Godswill Akpabio, President Tinubu also approved the construction of the Kaba Kagini Zautna Road after residents appealed for improved access to their communities. He said his administration remains committed to extending development to every district under the Renewed Hope agenda. The president described the newly rehabilitated road as a major economic corridor that will ease movement, reduce transportation costs, and improve commercial activities in Kado, Saburi, Gwagwa, Karimo, Idu, and Dede. He added that the installation of street lights would enhance security and support nighttime economic activities. President Tinubu commended the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Barrister Ezenwo Nyesom Wike, for delivering visible infrastructure projects across the territory, saying competence and timely execution would continue to attract government support. He also urged residents to protect public infrastructure by preventing vandalism and keeping drainage channels free of refuse. Earlier, Barrister Wike said the project fulfilled a long-standing promise to residents and traders who had requested the rehabilitation of the Old Kefi Road. He also announced that work on the newly approved Kaba Kagini Zautna Road would begin immediately, describing the intervention as another demonstration of the Renewed Hope agenda's commitment to
intensifying effort to accelerate regional integration and industrial growth, with a renewed push to transform the sub-region into a competitive production and investment hub. The commissioning of the new ECOWAS headquarters underscored that commitment, as leaders described it as a symbol of shared vision to economic prosperity, stronger regional cooperation, and sustainable development. In his welcome address, ECOWAS Commission President Dr. Omar Al-Toure urged member states to use the new center to strengthen policies that will advance peace, development, and improve welfare for citizens across the region.
We formally commissioned this remarkable edifice today. Let it stand as a lasting symbol of unity, resilience, and strong partnership between West Africa and China, and indeed as a symbol of shared destiny. May it inspire current and future generations to build a strong, more united region. I thank you for your attention.
Chinese ambassador to Nigeria and ECOWAS, Yu Donghai, reaffirmed China's commitment to West Africa's development, pledging deeper cooperation in infrastructure, the digital economy and trade to drive sustainable growth. He said the new ECOWAS headquarters reflects the shared vision of China and the region for long-term development.
Its modern architectural marvel, hailed as the eye of West Africa, stands as a flagship project under the framework of the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation, or FORCAC. It marks another historical milestone in China's enduring support for African integration.
Vice President Kashim Shettima also emphasized the need for Africa to expand regional trade and create more opportunities for innovation and manufacturing, particularly for young people. He added that the ECOWAS community remains open to countries willing to align with collective progress.
Our commitment to a peaceful, secure, democratic and prosperous region remains resolute. And no difficulty, I repeat, no difficulty of the present hour shall be permitted to dim the ambition of that distant horizon towards which we march.
President of Sierra Leone and Chair of the ECOWAS Authority of Heads of State and Government, Julius Maada Bio, called on member states to deepen cooperation in addressing security challenges, advance development, and sustain the vision of the founding fathers for the benefit of citizens across the sub-region.
Ladies and gentlemen, history does not remember generations for the buildings that they construct. It remembers the institutions that are strengthened, the values that they uphold, and the lives that are transformed.
As the commissioning ceremony drew to a close, they described the $56.5 million facility built by the Chinese government as more than a physical structure. They said it will help to shape the future of regional cooperation and development across West Africa. Joy Annie, ASO Television News.
The federal government has handed over 116 housing units purchased by the Benue State government for civil servants and other low-income earners as part of efforts by Governor Hyacinth Alia to address rising house rents and reduce the housing deficit. The Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Mokhtar Dama, who was represented by the Director of Public Building and Housing Development, Femi Tomitokpe, commends Governor Alia for his infrastructural and social development project to improve the living standards of residents. After the official handing over by the federal government, the acting head of Civil Service of Benue State, Eunice Ogbeyin Ihu, who sits in for Governor Alia, says the project, which was initially for the National Housing Program, was acquired by Benue Investment Property Company for civil servants in Benue State by Governor Alia. The delegation then leads the state officials to the estate located along Welfare Mobile Barracks Road for physical handover, where the Group Managing Director of Benue Investment Property Company, Mr. Raymond Asema Kaha, who is managing the process, says the government will provide low-income earners the opportunity to own a home at the estate, just as the Eco City project, which consists of 4-bedroom duplexes, will service those who can afford it. The allocation process includes rents to own for civil servants with a direct purchase option to enable those with a housing crisis within the state civil service to own a home in the state capital. The chairman of Abaji Area Council, Alhaji Abubakar Umar Abdullahi, has reaffirmed his administration's commitment to boosting agricultural productivity and ensuring food security through sustained support for farmers. Alhaji Abdullahi made the pledge during the official flag-off of the distribution of fertilizers and agrochemicals to farmers across the council. Correspondent Abdullahi Mokhtar reports.
The Abaji Area Council Chairman Alhaji Abubakar Umar Abdullahi, who was represented by the Speaker of the Abaji Area Council Legislative Arm, Honorable Abdullahi Baba Yahaya, described agriculture as the backbone of the local economy and the primary source of livelihood for many residents. He stressed that food security, economic growth, and sustainable development can only be achieved when farmers receive the necessary support.
Today's distribution is part of our unwavering commitment to improve agricultural productivity and enhance the welfare of our farmers. By providing this essential farming input, we aim to reduce the burden of production cost, encouraging increased cultivation during the farming season.
The chairman urged beneficiaries to make proper judicious use of the fertilizers and agrochemicals, addressing residents on the prolonged power outage affecting communities in the area. He said the council was actively engaging the Abuja Electricity Distribution Company (AEDC) and other relevant stakeholders to ensure electricity supply is restored as soon as possible.
Abaji Area Council is actively engaging with the Abuja Electricity Distribution Company (AEDC) and other relevant stakeholders to ensure that the electricity is restored as quick as possible. We appreciate your patience.
In his remarks, the head of the Agriculture Department of the Council, Usman Shehu, warned that any farmer found selling the fertilizers will be removed from the Council's register of beneficiaries. He added that the distribution program is a continuous intervention aimed at supporting farmers and boosting agricultural productivity. Some of the beneficiary farmers commended the chairman for the gesture, describing the intervention
by the council. So they should translate that by using it appropriately. They should not sell it out, so that we have food security, which is in line with the renewed hope of our president.
To make sure that the agriculture is boosting in Abaji Area Council, so that at the end of the year, we will make a large harvest.
Achama, he don't show say he's a quality leader.
Alhaji Abubakar Umar Abdullahi reiterated that the welfare of the people remains the primary focus of his administration and called on residents to continue supporting the council's effort to build a prosperous and food-secured Abaji Area Council. Abdullahi Mukhtar, ASO Television News.
The chairman of Gwagwalada Area Council, Comrade Kasimu Muhammad Ikwa, has commended the Nigerian Army for selecting schools in Gwagwalada Area Council to benefit from its civil-military cooperation educational outreach program as part of activities marking the Nigerian Army Day celebration 2026. Speaking during the outreach program, Comrade Ikwa urged pupils and students to take their education seriously, stressing that education remains the foundation for personal and national development. He assured them that his administration remains committed to supporting education and empowering deserving students across the Area Council. The chairman further disclosed that the council plans to sponsor outstanding students to study professional courses as part of effort to encourage academic excellence and build a skilled workforce for the future. The educational outreach organized by the commanding officer of the 176 Guards Battalion, Dukba, Lieutenant Colonel J.O. Ajobo, covered LEA Primary School Dukba, Junior Secondary School Dukba, Government Girls Secondary School, and Command Nursery and Primary School Dukba. Comrade Ikwa congratulated the Nigerian Army on its 163rd anniversary, describing its contributions to national peace, unity, and security as commendable. He prayed for God's continued guidance, protection, and strength for officers and personnel as they carry out their constitutional responsibility of safeguarding Nigeria's territorial integrity. You're watching ASO Television News. You can watch us live on DSTV channel 392, also on StarTimes TV channel 127 and Free TV channel 507. We're also on the UHF band on channel 38. Still to come, FCT administration impounds 40 vehicles over illegal roadside operations. Stay with us for details of this and more.
From June 11th till July 19th, everything fit wait. The FIFA World Cup 2026 go happen. Touchlight all 104 matches on top 4 correct channels. Sharply grab your GoTV decoder, GoTenna plus 1 month jolly for only 15,000 naira. Live on Super Sport, only on GoTV.
Many thanks for joining us again. The Federal Capital Territory Administration has impounded 40 commercial vehicles for operating outside the newly inaugurated Mabushi bus and taxi terminal in Abuja, as authorities intensify enforcement of regulations aimed at ending illegal roadside loading. The Secretary of the FCTA Command and Control Center, Dr. Peter Olumuji, disclosed this during an enforcement exercise in the Utako area on Friday. He said the vehicles were seized between Wednesday and Friday for violating the directive requiring commercial transport operators to relocate to the Mabushi terminal. He added that offenders would be prosecuted in line with FCT traffic regulations, while some individuals were also arrested for allegedly obstructing the enforcement exercise. The FCT Transport Secretariat had announced the commencement of operations at the Mabushi bus and taxi terminal on June 21 and directed operators at the Utako and Banex roadside parks to relocate by June 24. Officials say the exercise is intended to improve commuter safety by ensuring all commercial vehicles operate from designated terminals. An official of the Transport Secretariat, Usman Abdulmominu, said operators had been given adequate notice through public announcement on radio and television, adding that many had already complied. He explained that the ongoing enforcement is also aimed at creating awareness among residents about the availability of the new terminal. Operators of the facility say the terminal can accommodate about 250 vehicles and has processed more than 800 passengers and 130 vehicles since operations began on July 1st. They noted that the terminal offers a secure and organized environment with registered and traceable transport operators, while some passengers and drivers have praised the improved safety, efficiency, and quality of service. The Chairman, Nigeria Institute Estate Surveyors and Valuers, Abuja Branch, ESV, Folake Odusika, has tasked members of the Nigeria Institute of Estate and Valuers to embrace modern technology in carrying out their professional practice. ESV Odusika gave the charge at a strategic gathering of leaders in the estate surveyors and valuers sector, Breakfast Summit in Abuja. Topsy Gimba has the details.
The estate surveyor and valuer, ESV Folake Doshika, told her professional colleagues that the practice of the estate surveyors and valuers was fast changing and the need to join the wall for the best global practice has become very necessary. She said the choice of the theme, reimagining estate surveying and valuation practice, was aimed at tasking the members to gear up to the best practices.
And we are talking about how technology and AI can affect our profession, and again how we can overcome it. And it's an important theme in the sense that every one of us, we are going to gain from this summit. It's going to be an impactful summit for us, that for the rest of our life it will continue to linger in our lives as an estate surveyor and valuer. And I'm happy that people came, a high level of attendance, and we also have our sponsors in our midst today, which gives me a great joy that the profession has a long way to go.
On his part, the lead speaker, Diron Adetunji, stressed on the use of modern technology to meet the best global standards in the estate surveyors and valuers.
The estate surveying and valuation profession is undergoing unprecedented transformation, driven by technological advancements, artificial intelligence, data analytics, globalization, evolving client expectations, and emerging investment model. Over the past decades, we have witnessed significant shifts that have reshaped how we operate, practice, innovate, and conduct business. These developments present both opportunity and threats to traditional practice structures. The old ways, just like I said, no longer and will not be operational anymore.
Other members of the profession spoke about the breakfast summit of the Nigerian Institute of Estate Surveyors and Valuers, NIESV.
Reimagining estate surveying and valuation practice, leveraging technology, strategic partnerships, and innovation for global competitiveness and sustainable value creation is more than an academic topic. It is a call to action. It challenges us to ask difficult questions. Are our firms truly prepared for the digital economy? Are we investing enough in technology, data intelligence, and continuous learning?
These are the little ones I know, but I know that Prof today will tell us. You know, these things come up every day. There are new innovations, new skills, new technologies that are being applied to the built environment.
The theme for the gathering was Reimagining Estate Surveying and Valuation Practice. It was organized by the Abuja branch of the profession. Topsy Gimba for ASO Television News.
World Bank Group has endorsed a new country partnership framework aims to setting out a strategy towards creating more and better jobs by unlocking private sector-led growth for Nigeria between 2026 and 2032. The World Bank, in a press release to newsmen, disclosed it also approved the Nigeria Actions for Investment and Jobs Acceleration Development Policy Financing Operation, which supports Nigeria's transition to a more inclusive growth model that spurs growth and creates jobs as part of its broader support. The group added that this is expected to expand energy access to 32 million Nigerians, deliver broadband connectivity to 58 million people, improve health and nutrition services for 40 million people, and support 9.5 million farmers, while strengthening human capital, boosting agricultural productivity, and expanding access to energy and digital infrastructure. According to the group, this operation is part of its broader support to Nigeria, combining policy reforms with investment and financing in energy, digital infrastructure, agriculture, private sector development, and social protection to help deliver lasting improvement in job creation, economic resilience, and poverty reduction. The bank further acknowledged that through this country partnership framework, it will work alongside with Nigeria to help unlocking private investment, expanding access to infrastructure and essential services, and creating the enabling conditions for businesses to innovate and compete. The federal government has reduced vehicle import levies to lower prices while also flagging off the newly introduced green tax to combat the country's pervasive cost of living crisis, which has elevated the country's poverty level. An update by the Nigeria Customs Service on Wednesday noted that the green tax surcharge implementation would begin on July 1st, 2026 as part of the 2026 fiscal policy measure to support environmental sustainability while also reducing the import levy on new vehicles from 20% to 10% and that of used vehicles from 15% to 5% to ease the cost of vehicle importation. The implementation commenced under the 2026 fiscal policy measures approved by the Finance Minister and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Taiwo Oyedele. Further analysis showed that transportation and industrial sectors are also in focus. According to the NCS update, the duty on passenger vehicles has been slashed from 70% to 40%, a move that could lower the cost of car ownership. More significantly, the government has fully exempted mass transit buses and electric vehicles from import duties, a green tax measure aimed at reducing transport costs and encouraging cleaner energy. Import duties have also been significantly slashed for essential items, with rice duties dropping from 70% to 47.5%, and crude oil palm oil to 28.75%. He stated that raw cane sugar duties have been compressed to between 55% and 57.5%, and crude palm oil now enters at a rate of 28.75%, down from 35%. These cuts, the NCS said, are designed to reduce import costs for everything for a family's daily meals to commercial food production. The chairman of the National Sports Commission, Shehu Diko, has led Team Nigeria to the State House ahead of the forthcoming 2026 Commonwealth Games in Glasgow, Scotland. Diko, who spoke on behalf of the delegation, which include the NCS Director General, Bukola Olupade, and the National Institute for Sports Director General, Mr. Philip Shuaibu, thanked President Bola Tinubu for approving the presidential send-off. He said since the beginning of the administration, Nigerian sports have received a level of attention, support, and policy direction that is overwhelming and unprecedented. The NCS chairman also commended President Tinubu for signing into law the Nigeria Anti-Doping Act, saying that the inauguration of the board of the center, the office of the secretary to the government of the federation, was another clear indication that this administration is determined to protect our athletes, safeguard our reputations, and ensure that Nigeria's victories are respected across the world. Also speaking, the DG of the NCS, Olupade, commended the president's leadership style in sports development, which, according to him, has attracted private sector investment across different sports and assured of the team's positive performance at the Games. In her goodwill message, Team Nigeria captain Oluwafemi Ayo Folashade promised to represent the country well and restore its honor. The 72-member Nigerian contingent will compete in 10 sports at the Glasgow 2026 Commonwealth Games, with government officials expressing confidence that the country's athletes will return with a record medal haul while upholding the values of discipline, fairness, and excellence. And on a very sad note, former secretary to the Benue State government, Professor David Salifo, is dead. Confirming the incident during an interview with ASO Radio and Television, a family member of the deceased said that Professor Salifo had escaped an attempted kidnapping in Wukari while traveling to Makurdi, the Benue State capital. He sustained gunshot wounds during the attack, but later succumbed to his injuries on Thursday night at a health facility. The deceased served as Benue's SSG between 2011 and 2015. Until his demise, he was a staunch member of the African Democratic Congress in Benue South Senatorial District. May his soul rest in peace. And that's the bulletin, but before we go, let's take another look at one of our major stories. FCT Minister Barrister Ezenwo Nyesom Wike has announced that work will commence immediately at the newly approved Kagini-Zaudna Road. I am Tina Oje Achiu. Thanks for watching.